Kodesh, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim, Ki anu bacharta, V'halanu kidashta, Michol ha'amim, V'shabbat kashecha, B'hava ratzon, Hinkaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai Mechadesh HaShabbat.
It's just juice. Have a seat, everyone. I'd like you to turn in your books to page 6, going from right to left in the middle of the page, where there's a reading that we'll share responsibly. First me, then you. Here you go. Terrific. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. It's our prayer for the community we hope to be. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. Together, may you welcome. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut up pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. So this whole first part of the service, before we get to the official parts, it's called Kabbalat Shabbat, and it really is poetry of joy and, frankly, poetry of love as well. And so the beautiful love song, Yedid Nefesh, is on page 10. We're going to do the Hebrew. The English characters of the Hebrew are on the other side, so it's all available to you. So I just want you to see what the words mean. It means heart's delight, source of mercy. Draw your servant into your arms. I leap like a deer to stand in awe before you. Goes like this. And it's a waltz. You can sway. Yi nefesh av harachaman, yi nefesh av harachaman, meshoch avdecha, el ritzonecha, meshoch avdecha, ya la 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 la, el ritzonecha, ya roots. Yarutz avdecha kemo aya ishtachave yailai ya la 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 radarecha. Yarutz again. Here we go. Yarutz avdecha kemo aya. Ishtachave yailai ya la 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 la. From the beginning, Yedid Nefesh. Yedid Nefesh av harachaman. Yedid Nefesh av harachaman. Meshoch avdecha. El ritzonecha. Meshoch avdecha, ya la 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 la, So turn to page 17. There's a beautiful passage called Romemu, and we'll find exactly where it is on the page for you. It's the last couple lines of the Hebrew, and again, the transliteration is right there, and it goes like this, kind of bouncy. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodecho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodecho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodecho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu Lecha Kodesh, Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Well, the next song truly is a love song. On page 20, it's called Lecha Dodi. Let the bride approach. Let the bride called Shabbat. Do you know, there's 7 days of the week. Every day has a partner except Shabbat. Some people say the partner of Shabbat is God. Some people say it's us. But the mystics 500 years ago would go out into the fields, dressed all in white, and they would greet their imagination of the Shabbat bride to be in their presence. So we're going to be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And this is a tune that many people know because it's just old, like me, right? Lechando di likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lechando di likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nik. Now here's a chorus. Lechando di likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lechando di likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nikabel. Verse 1. Shamor b'zachor b'dibur echad. Ishmi'anu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shemo tifaret v'd. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi. Lecha dodi likra'at kalam. Pnei Shabbat nikabela, lecha dodi likra'at kala. Pnei Shabbat nikabela. Verse 2. Lihikrat Shabbat lechechu v'nelcha, ki makor habaracha meherosh mikadem nisucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. That's a mouthful. Lecha dodi. Lecha dodi likra'at kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likra'at kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Verse 5, other page. Hit'oreri, kiva oreh kumi ori. Uri, shir daberi, kavod Adonai Alai, lecha dodi, lecha dodi. Please rise and face the rear to greet the bride. Shabbat nikabela, lecha dodi likra'at kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Verse 9.
Boi v'shalom ha'teret bala. Kam b'simcha u'v'tzohala. Chemone
Am segul, boat out of the left, boat, and then to the right. Please find your seats. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likra'at kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likra'at kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. For how many of you in the congregation have we now just sung more Hebrew than you ever sung in your life? Some of you, I'm sure. But the idea is to get into the mood with the song, with the melody should be moving you as much as trying to find out what the translation is. They're all evocative, and they're meant to evoke a mood of contemplation, of joy, that we have actually managed to be here after a challenging week. Shabbat is the only holiday I know that asks us to completely let go, that nothing will claim us. And we have this wonderful concept in Jewish ideas, not American, where we're free to do things. We want to be free from. We want to be from that which claims us, free from bosses, and free from assignments, and free from stuff. But you're free from all of that right now. There's a beautiful newer tune that we're doing of Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbat, the psalm that's actually for the Sabbath day. It's on 22.
time. Ya-da-dai, that's this
Da,
time.
da, da,
Ya-da-dai,
Don't need to know Hebrew for this.
Ya-da-dai-da-dai-da-dai. Changes. Ya-da-dai-da-da-dai-da-dai-da-dai. Ya-da-dai-da-da-dai-da-dai. Try it. Ya-da-dai-da-dai-da-dai-da-dai. But bring it home. Ya-da-dai-da-dai-da-dai. Now with the words. Mizmor shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Or on la la la. Mizmor shir leyom ha-Shabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Uzamer l'shimcha elyon. Lehagid baboker chastecha. Be'emunatcha balelot. Tzadik hatamar yifrach. Ke'erez balvanon yizkeh. Shetulim beveit Adonai. Bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu. Od ינובון בשיבה, דשנים ורעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולא עוולת בו.
And the song that's going to end this opening section, this is the song not about the bride, but about angels. It's called Shalom Aleichem. Some of you know this tune. It goes way, way back. It's on page 24. If you know it, please join in. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei
Hasharet, Malachei Elyon,
Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem, Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Please rise as you are able for the Chatzi Kaddish before the Baruch Hu.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
וילמד דברי חירותי ומליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל.
Magala, ובזמן קריב ימרו. Amen. יהי שמירה במבורך, לעולם לעלמי עלמיה. יתברך.
יתברך וישבח ויתפאר ויתרומם. ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה לשמי לקודשה.
בריחו.
בריחו ליאל מכל ברכתה ושירתה. תושבחתה ונחמתה. דמירן בעולמה וימרו.
Amen.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai Vorach Leolam Vahed.
אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Please find your seats on page 30 in your book, where we'll continue in the English together. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates,
thoughtfully alters the time, and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night, and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Turn the page.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limahadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbeinu, u'v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach midivrei Toratecha, u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, v'yorech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla. Ve'avadcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael, ohev amo Yisrael. Please rise as you are able. Turn the page. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Please find your seats again and turn the page. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם
על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Now our teachers, our sages tell us the ideas of this are so important. They not only have to be said twice a day, but they have to be understood by the heart. So look at the poetic rendering on the left-hand side of the page, and you'll find what it really means. Love your God with your heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you this day. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work,
whether you're tired or you're rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet.
If your phones just buzz, there's an amber alert in McKee's Rocks, just so you know, so it doesn't affect us particularly. We're on page 39, the middle passage, and we're going to read that responsively. In a world torn
by violence.
I'll take the first part. Okay? In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, to keep alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
So it's the next page. This is one we do in school all the time. 1, 2, ready, and Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot. Ose ferele. Ose. Just this side. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot. Ose ferele. Ose ferele. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Everybody from the beginning. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh.
ונאמר כיפת אדוני את יעקב וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
So this is a version of the goodnight song. You know, in the Catholic tradition, there's now I lay me down to sleep, I pray. We have our own version because we don't ever say if I should die before I wake because I can't even imagine that. But we do say is may we lie down in peace and rise up to life renewed. And we do this every Monday night in our school. It goes like this. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim, uvros aleinu sukat shalomecha, uvros aleinu sukat shalomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us wrong from right. Oh. Big amen here. It goes like this. Amen. 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 The very bottom, you'll see a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, haporesh sukat shalom aleinu, v'al amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. The passage that's on the next page, 44, is Exodus 31, 16 to 17, and it says you get Shabbat as your heritage. It's yours. And you really can't divorce yourself from it. If you break one Shabbat, guess what? 7 days later, there's another one. So you're here, so let's enjoy this one as Jenna leads us in Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoretam derit olam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoretam derit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael Oti leolam, oti leolam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoretam derit olam Ki sheshet yamim Asa Adonai et ha-shamayim et ha'aretz Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoretam derit olam Uvayom hasinim Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat vayinafash Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledoretam derit olam.
Well,
Beautifully
we
done.
know you're getting many, many presents, but we have to give the famous party t-shirt. Party stands for? Pittsburgh Area Reformed Temple Youth. She helped invent that name. I want you to know that. And we want to see how it fits. Everybody go, ooh.
Excuse me.
Ooh. Ah. And we hope that you'll be involved in our youth group and have fun here, not just learn stuff, but learn stuff with other kids. You can sit down for the rest of the service. Thank you very much. So on page 46, you'll find the introduction to the middle section of our service. This is called the tefillah, or the standing prayer. So guess what I'm going to ask you to do? We pray in the hopes that we might be able to open our mouths and pray.
Adonai sifatai tiftach Ufi agit tehilatecha Adonai sifatai tiftach Ufi agit tehilatecha Adonai sifatai tiftach Ufi agit tehilatecha.
Please turn the page.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Koneh HaKol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imaot U'Mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Chozer U'Mashiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayeh Kol HaTorah V'Lehoshia Morid HaTal Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומטהר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
Turn the page.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please find your seats and turn to 55. We're going to read together the blessing for the day of Shabbat in English. 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who find healing on this day. And may all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day.
And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
On 57 in the middle, sometimes we realize that we look out for God, and God is nowhere to be seen. And then if we're driven by need enough, we do what we need to. We look in. You are with us in our prayer and our love and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble and pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. Let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha yirah na'avod. On page 59 in the middle, you'll find a reading of thanksgiving. And this reading is based on Psalm 8, where King David 3,000 years ago looked out at the night sky and went, wow! Now, I have to tell you a tiny story. When I was a kid in New Jersey, I loved reading my Bible books. There are these two books called Jewish Heroes, Book 1 and Book 2. They were published in the 50s. I loved them. And when it told the story of Abraham, it said, God told him his people, his progeny, his offspring would be as many as the stars in the sky. And I rushed outside, and I looked at the sky and said, 8. There are going to be 8 of us, because it was so polluted and so different. And then some people live in places like Utah, and you go to Israel, you go to the Negev, and all of a sudden, oh my God, that's what this is about. Thanks for the gorgeous physical world that God made. So let's read together. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers,
the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth.
Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Turn the page. The last prayer of this section is a blessing for peace. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon. Page 60. Lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon. Lechol hashalom. Shalom, shalom, Rama Yisrael Amcha
Tasim leolam. Shalom,
Shalom, Rama Yisrael Amcha Tasim leolam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael בכל עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך.
Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Hamavarech et Amo Yisrael Bashalom.
So look at the facing page. One of my favorite snippets of a poem, translated from Hebrew. Don't stop after beating the swords into plowshares. Don't stop. Go on beating and make musical instruments of them. Whoever wants to make war again will have to turn them into plowshares first. There's so much when we finally get a break, a 3-day weekend, Memorial Day, the unofficial start of summer, that we begin to realize that I was able to take off my electric blanket this week. Only Tuesday, but this week. And so I'm hopeful that you will be able to reflect on something for which you are thankful. And if it's not real yet, the possibility that it might become real in your life. What you pray for, that you might be better tomorrow, this Shabbat, than you were yesterday or last week or even last year. We pray silently.
May the one who makes peace in the heavens descend on us, and the world will say Amen. May the one who makes peace in the heavens descend on us, and the world will say Amen. 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 Descend on us, and the world will say Amen. May the one who makes peace in the heavens descend on us, and the world will say Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Amen. Amen. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Amen. 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 Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. May the one who makes peace in the heavens descend on us, and the world will say
one prayer could come true. What a joy that would be. At this point in our service, we turn in the middle of our book to 253 for a prayer of healing for those in need of healing. Many of us know those who are suffering right now with various illnesses and ailments. And we also know people who are just struggling, just trying to make sense of their lives, who walk the earth with a stone in the heart, who face the daily battles of sobriety. Some people just face the battle of loneliness. And we wish healing of body, mind, and spirit for them. And it's our custom and tradition here that if you want to add a name to our collective heart, we'll encourage you to say that name out loud. You might just whisper it. But if you said it out loud, we could pray with you. Let's start over again. Take 2. Call it out now. Jan Barclay.
Chava Batelli, Judgerman.
Strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
Second verse.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Every week when I offer a thought or two about the Torah, it is almost always tied to the Torah portion. And what I've said for several weeks, for those of you who remember what I've said, is that we're actually off the diaspora calendar. We're on the Israeli calendar, so we're a week ahead of all of them. And we have one of the most challenging Torah portions in the entire Torah, and you guys have had enough, and I'm not going to make you deal with it. Because this Torah portion says, if you're good, you'll get rain in its season. Things will be hunky and dory, okie and dokie. Jake, they'll be fantastic. And if not, well, there's a lot more bad stuff to come than good stuff that's listed. And you know something? All of us have enough bad stuff to deal with. So I thought I would go on a variant, which is in this time between Passover and Shavuot, we're supposed to read Pirkei Avot. We're supposed to read the Ethics of Our Fathers, which is practical aphorisms of how to live a good life. And one of the things I was fascinated by 2 in this week's chapter. It says there are 4 kinds of temperament among people. The person who's easy to provoke and easy to appease, loss canceled by gain. Hard to provoke, hard to appease, his gain is canceled by his loss. Hard to provoke, easy to appease. There's a saint. Easy to provoke, hard to please, wicked. And then it goes on to say that any controversy, any conflict that's waged l'shem shamayim, for the service of heaven, well, even if there's conflict, what you come up with in the end is bound to endure. Anything that is more petty, that's not for the sake of heaven, well, the results are not going to be good and they won't endure. And they talk about the conflict between two great rabbis, Hillel and Shammai, who argued over what was the best way to be a Jew, what was the best way to apply God's law. And what's a bad conflict? Well, there was later in the next book called the Book of Numbers, there's a conflict between Moses and a guy named Korach who says, I want your job, and tries to force a coup. When we talk about conflict, how can we not think about Memorial Day? How can we not think about those who gave their lives in conflict so that we could sit here in peace today? Despite attacks on synagogues, despite everything going on, this place, this America, is the safest, most secure diaspora place we have ever known to live, ever. More opportunity, more safety, more openness, more opportunity. And what was it and who paid for it? Lots of people paid for it. And if you think about all the wars that we've been in, all the conflicts we've had to endure, well, that's kind of paved the way for us to gather here. I truly believe that World War II was a key moment. Why? Because for the first time in all the millions of people who fought, 500,000 Jews were in the military. 500,000. My wife is here. Her father was in the Signal Corps in the South Pacific. My mother's brother was an expert pilot, and he trained other pilots to go over to Europe to fight against the Nazis. And in January of 1945, his training plane went down and he died. The 500,000 Jews who fought alongside with all the other Americans, for other Americans, it was the first time they had been in close proximity to Jews. It was the first time they had realized that Jews did not have horns, they did not have those defects, and they were regular human beings. And shortly after World War II, Will Herberg, a great religious philosopher, came out with a book called Catholic Protestant Jew. We were elevated to an equal rank in American society for the first time. Not merely Oriental, not merely strange, not merely tolerated. And I think of those who fight. I have to tell you, I did not fight in Vietnam. My draft number was 156, and I was never going to be called. Anybody here remember their draft numbers? Anybody beside? What was yours, Paul? 37? And you're here. What was yours, Paul? 83. And you were not called up? A little late. And the reason they had a draft call-up is for years, people like me had gotten out of duty in the military by having what's called a 2S deferment. You were deferred because you were a student. But what that means is if you had means, and more likely if you were white, you did not have to serve as more readily than people who were poor or didn't have means or probably were black. And I think about that fact every day. I was against the war with every fiber of my being. And yet, I know people died there. They suffered there. And I got to reap the benefit of the liberties they protected. So no, not every American war was fought l'shem shamayim. Absolutely not. But again, what we understand is if we have a liberty that we cherish, we have to be willing to stand up for it. And if we can't hold a rifle ourselves, some other day I'll tell you when I was in the Civil Guard in Israel and actually carried an M1, one of the great funny stories of all time. We can at least support those who did, who served honorably, who gave their lives. This Memorial Day, since my mother died last month, I'm filled with thoughts about her brother. My oldest brother is named Stuart because of Stuart, who died, my mother's brother. And I saw the pictures I've not seen in decades. He was the golden one, the oldest and the male. But he was also eager to go off and do his part, to stand up. And if we don't have the capacity to stand up with arms in our arms, or arms in hand, may we understand that there are people fighting every day for us. May we understand that liberty is a blessing, not a right. And may we understand that ultimately it's our job to help us form a nation or help guide a nation so that our fights, when we do have to fight them, are l'shem shamayim, for the sake of heaven. Amen. Steffi, it's blessing time. You're going to Israel, and there's a travel blessing I want to give to you, okay? You're going on Birthright?
Yep.
Wonderful. Do you know what the group is?
Gosh,
It's for college grads.
no, it's actually a different group.
Okay, but it's not for the 18-year-olds.
No.
Because they just want to drink.
Yes.
But
So it's 27
we want to
32.
bless you to be able to go in peace and come back in peace. And so we say, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, our God and God of our fathers and God of our mothers. Steffi stands here on the edge of a spiritual adventure, not just getting on a plane and seeing new places and new faces, but a journey inward to see who she is as a Jewish woman. May she be guided knowing that she has a purpose among our people. May she be guided even into the difficult conversations that Israel provokes in our hearts. May she be guided to lead as she was always meant to lead. May she be guided in safety and love and come back to us in peace. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and keep you. Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, may God cause God's light to shine on you and be gracious to you. Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God lift up God's presence to you and grant you wholeness and joy, fulfillment, and no bad deals in the shuk either. As together we say, may God give you peace. Amen. The last thing before the announcements, which is the last thing before the Aleinu and Kaddish, is the counting of the Omer. So how many days are the counting of the Omer? How many in total? It's more than 10. 49. 49 days counting of the Omer. And because I'm so challenged in math, I can't tell you how delighted I am to know that it's a full whole week, so I don't have to do my sevens timetables except on the evens. So the counting of the Omer in our book, I'm losing my page number here, hold on a second, is on page 278. So turn in your book to 278. For those of you who are not familiar with this custom, there are 49 days between the second night of Passover, where we went into freedom, and the holiday of Shavuot, where we receive the Torah standing at the foot of Mount Sinai. We prepare for that, and there's a little blessing to say at the top, to say that we are ready to count the Omer. Hineni muchan umzuman lekayem mitzvat aseh shel sfirat haomer, where it says, let's read it together, I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Now, you say, I don't know the blessing for counting the Omer. Yes, you do. It's everything you know from Baruch Tevitzivanu, which you already know, and Al Sfirat HaOmer. So let's try it. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kitshana B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu Al Sfirat HaOmer. Hayom 35 Yom Shehem 5 Shavuot Le'Omer. And this is the 35th day. That it was 5 weeks of the counting of the Omer. Okay, a few announcements. Make sure we get everything talked about. I want to thank Arlene and Frank who greeted tonight. And on tomorrow for the Bat Mitzvah, Jim and Marcia Kaplan are going to be ushering and greeting people and making sure they get to their seats. We want to thank Debbie and Joe for sponsoring the Oneg in honor of their granddaughter, Jenna Robeck, and it's also sponsored by Women at Temple Sinai, what we call WATS. Our cantorial program is underwritten by a generous grant from Edgar Snyder, and we're grateful for his support of our ongoing music here at Temple Sinai. Tomorrow, there's Torah study upstairs in the Lockhart Lounge at 8:30. There's informal minyan at 9:15. And Jenna, what's at 10:30? My bat mitzvah. Yes, my bat mitzvah. Yes. You don't have to write a thank you note for that shirt, by the way, just want you to know. And so we'll be back here, and we're going to rejoice with you. We're going to be so happy to have you help us lead us in prayers, read Torah, and teach us. Wednesday, we have something different. How many of you have either read or heard of Dr. Ruth? Okay, Dr. Ruth is about this big. By the way, in pre-state Israel, she was a sniper in the Haganah. The rifle was taller than she was, right? She's an amazing woman. And we're showing for the community a documentary about her. It's free and open to the public, and it highlights her 90-year-old career as a child refugee and a Holocaust survivor who became our most famous sex therapist. If you ever need to not get too excited about talking about sex, have a 90-year-old talk about it in a Yiddish accent. I mean, please note that the film contains sensitive material and may not be appropriate for children. Do you hear that? Okay. Donations will be collected to benefit Hello Neighbor and Repair the World, and light refreshments will be provided. Next Friday is Pride Shabbat, and our Pride community, called the Pride Tribe, is leading services, and we're delighted to have that happen. And the Oneg will be sponsored by the Goldson family in honor of Sam's upcoming bar mitzvah. There'll be butterfly storytelling, not moth, butterfly, because it'll be colorful, right? Because of the rainbow. And then Saturday is the Pride Seder at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? No, 1 o'clock? It says 1 p.m. It's wrong. Thank you for the correction. 7 p.m. And very, very important, on the 5th of June at 7 is our annual meeting. And we have much to talk about. We have accomplishments to celebrate, and we have a lot to talk about what our future may hold for all of us. And so I hope that all of you will come to the annual meeting on June 5th at 7 o'clock. That said, I want you to turn in your book to page 282, in the middle of the page, and rise for a concluding set of prayers called Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורל עלינו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ.
Please be seated.
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Before we say Mourner's Kaddish, we're going to say the names of those who died at this season in years past, and those who have died in more recent days. And at the very end, if anybody in your family has died serving in the military, we want you to stand as a mourner as well. So as I say the name of those whose yahrzeits or year anniversaries we're observing, if you're saying Kaddish for that person, please stand so we can recognize you as a mourner. At the very end, we will all stand so that no mourner ever needs stand alone. This week, we especially remember the yahrzeits of Janice Tannenbaum Bernstein, Isaac Birnbaum, and Janine Carter Boninger, David Kogan, Israel Davidson, Sarah Denmark, and Masha Dubin, Steve Entrikin, William Ehrlich, and Barnett Fain, Margit Fleischman, Wolf Glodowski, and Yetta Gusson, Julius Herr, Hyman Klein, Minnie Weiner-Latterman, Irving Leon, Leona Lobel, Ivan Morris, Miriam Palmer, Rabbi Aaron D. Pankin, Rose Pinsker, Abram Samuels, Albert M. Schwartz, Morris Siegel, Barris Siegel, Abraham Silberstein, Alexander Steiner, Bonnie Suzanne Stept-Myers, Elizabeth Stoffman, and Sloan Wilson. And now we remember those whose recent deaths we still mourn. Sonny Goldberg, Sandy Bart, Eleanor Kalig Kramer, Raymond Benenson, Kendrick Castillo, and Riley Howell, Ellis Parker, the students killed in North Carolina. Is there anyone who's lost family in military service? Please stand up. Or lost friends? Please rise and say the name. We stand with our mourners, and the Kaddish is on page 294.
In the black numbers, yes.
Gadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'yomad yivrach hiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kari v'yamru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam olam me'al ma'amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechamata. Damiram b'yom v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'yimru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'kodesh v'tel v'yimru. Amen. May the source of peace in the high heavens cause peace to descend on all of us, all Israel, upon a shattered world in need of our healing, upon all those who gave up their lives to defend our liberty, upon all of us who mourn our beloved dead, as together we say,
Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing and turn in your books to Adon Olam. This is on page 321. It's 625 in the brackets. I have to get the cookies for after the song. Adon Olam is a beautiful poem about the things we love about God. And the way we sing it here, this particular version, is, how do I say this, very enthusiastic. So don't be surprised if we go a little nuts up here, especially in the notes leading to the chorus that we're going to be doing. And then afterwards, we need our kids up here for the cookies afterwards, okay? They can come up now if they want to dance around, it's fine, okay? Adon Olam Hashem Malach Yai da 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 B'terem kol yitzir nivra Lai la 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 Leit asar v'chefso kol Lai la 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 Azan aleh shemo nikra Yai lai 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 V'acharei kichlot hakol
לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה,
והוא יהיה בתפארה. יא 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 אדון עולם השם מלך. יא דה 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 בטרם כל יציר נברא. Lai la 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 leit asar v'chefso kol Lai lai da 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 Azan aleh shemo nikra Lai 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 verse 3 Vehu echad ve'en sheni Lehamshilo lehakbira B'li reshit b'li tachlit Elohos v'hani Yisra Yai 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 Adon Olam Hashem Malach Yai da 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 B'terem kol yitzir nivra Lai la 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 Leit asar v'chefso kol Yai da 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 Azan aleh shemo nikra Lai, lai, lai. Let's go to the last verse. Let's go to town.
ידов כדרוכי ביד אישן ויעירה ברוכי גביעתי
Ready? Adonai li velo ira. Adon Olam Hashem Malach Yai da 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 Le'em kol yitzir nivra Lai la 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 Leit asar v'chefso kol Lai lai la 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 Azan aleh shemo nikra Lai 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 lai. Kids, where are you? Come on up. Bruchim atem b'voachem, bruchim atem b'tzeichem me'atav olam.
Henry, come on up.
May be blessed every place you come into God's
Henry, come,
world.
come, quickly.
May be blessed every place you go out as well. As together we say,
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei minei mizonot. Praise you, Adonai our God, ruler of all, who makes animal crackers and other cookies and baked goods. As together we say, Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. You guys count too?
There we go.